India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next hour. Delhi gets a BJP government after 27 years. Rekha Gupta sworn in as Chief Minister, becomes second woman BJP Chief Minister of India's national capital. Israel receives bodies of youngest Gaza hostages, including the remains of an 8-month-old infant. Hamas agrees to release all remaining hostages in single swap during next phase of Gaza truce. US President Donald Trump denounces Zelenskyy as a dictator. Zelenskyy hopes talks with visiting US envoy Keith Kellogg will be constructive. And India begins their campaign at the ICC Champions Trophy against Bangladesh at the Dubai International Stadium. Hundreds of people gathered on Thursday as Hamas handed over to Israel the bodies of 4 hostages, including the 2 youngest captives taken by Hamas in their October 7, 2023 attack. The returned bodies include Kafir Bibas, who was 8 and 8.5 months old, and when he was kidnapped by Hamas. He's the youngest of the 251 hostages taken on the day the group carried out its terror attack on Israel. The Israeli military has said that it has received the hostages' bodies in Gaza. Hamas had announced that the bodies of the 2 boys and their mother, Shiri Bibas, along with that of a 4th hostage, Oded Lifshitz, would be handed over under the Gaza ceasefire agreement reached last month with the backing of the United States and the mediation of Qatar and Egypt. Armed Hamas militant in black and camouflage uniforms toured the area at the handover point in Khan Yunis in southern Gaza. Meanwhile, as Israel prepares for the second phase of negotiations, plans are already in motion to discuss the return of around 60 more hostages, though it is feared that fewer than half of them may still be alive.
Negotiations on second phase of the hostage deal. Israel is committed to our goal to ensure the release of all our hostages. We also committed to all the objectives of the war as were decided by the Security Cabinet.
US President Donald Trump said on Wednesday that the Russians have the cards in any negotiation to end the conflict with Ukraine after branding Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy a dictator who refused to hold elections. Trump also warned Zelenskyy to move fast to secure peace or risk losing his country. Trump's remarks were criticized by the European leaders, expressing their support for Ukraine. A report.
As efforts to secure peace in Ukraine continues, the war of words between US President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy shows no sign of abating. Trump called Zelenskyy a dictator without election. The comments came after Ukrainian President accused him of living in a Russian disinformation bubble. Trump warned Zelenskyy to move quickly to secure peace or risk losing his country.
I think the Russians want to see the war end. And I really do. But I think they have the cards a little bit because, you know, they've taken a lot of territory. So they have the cards.
Trump further said that the Ukrainian leader has done a terrible job and could have come to talks with Russia in Saudi Arabia if he had wanted to.
Biden never tried. Europe has failed to bring peace, and Zelenskyy probably maybe he wants to keep the gravy train going. I don't know what's the problem, but he hasn't been able. He's very upset that he wasn't invited. He could have come if he wanted to, but that he wasn't invited to Saudi Arabia.
Zelenskyy's 5-year term ended in 2024, but Ukrainian law does not require elections during conflicts. Donald Trump's harsh comments quickly grabbed global attention, with many European leaders voicing for Ukraine. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer spoke to the Ukrainian president on Wednesday and expressed his support for President Zelenskyy as Ukraine's democratically elected leader and said that it was perfectly reasonable to suspend elections during conflict time. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz also said that it is false and dangerous to deny President Zelenskyy his democratic legitimacy. Meanwhile, Zelenskyy says that he's counting on unity and courage from his compatriots and pragmatism from the United States. He also mentioned his meeting with U.S. envoy for Russia and Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, on Thursday.
I rely on Ukrainian unity, on our Ukrainian courage, on our relation with partners, on our European solidarity, and on America's pragmatism. Because America needs success just as much as we do. Success brings us together. Our meeting with General Kellogg is scheduled for tomorrow, and it is crucial for us that this meeting and overall cooperation with America is constructive.
Домовились працювати разом і надалі.
Earlier on Wednesday, France held the second round of talks to discuss Ukraine and European security, but has this time invited European countries not present earlier this week and NATO ally Canada.
Unfortunately, recent developments and the different view of things from the United States now oblige us not only to face the truth, but to move at a very high speed and implement decisions that we have been discussing for a long time. Whether we are talking about the establishment of a defense policy that will allow Europe to project different power itself without being permanently completely dependent on the United States, a crucial issue for our country.
Meanwhile, US is expanding consultation process as French President Emmanuel Macron and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is set to visit Washington next week amid other meetings to discuss the Ukraine crisis. Ayushi Bhatnagar's report for DD India.
Now, a potential trade war is brewing between the United States and the European Union. The EU has issued a strong warning to Washington, vowing to respond firmly and swiftly if the US imposes new tariffs on European goods. But is there still room for negotiation? DD India's Harshita Oberoi finds out.
It's a standoff that threatens to snowball into a terrible economic avalanche which can engulf everything in its wake. Impact is sure to be felt by businesses, workers, and consumers on both sides of the Atlantic. Europe has made it clear it will not back down if Washington moves forward with tariff hikes.
To protect European interests, we will have no choice but to respond firmly and swiftly. But we do hope to avoid this scenario, meaning the unnecessary pain of measures and countermeasures, and remain committed to constructive dialogue.
A sudden unilateral move from Washington could trigger a trade war, disrupting exports and economic stability, something neither side can afford.
With regards to EU-US trade relations, the overall picture is very balanced, providing a robust level playing field for businesses on both sides of the pond. The average EU duty on US goods is 0.9%, whereas EU exports to the US face an average tariff of 1.5%. For certain products, the level of duties varies, but tariff peaks exist on both sides.
If Washington moves forward, multiple sectors will bear the brunt. Germany's car industry is already raising alarm bells, warning that higher tariffs could lead to steeper costs for American drivers. Meanwhile, European officials stress that both sides need to act responsibly. The EU is leaving the door open for negotiation.
So if we are going to talking about lowering the tariffs, even eliminating the tariffs, let's say for industrial products, this will be something which we are ready to discuss. We are ready to go for it. We are ready to discuss.
US President Trump has threatened sweeping reciprocal tariffs on allies and adversaries alike. The White House is reportedly considering new levies tailored to each trading partner based on their existing duties on American goods. The stakes are high. The EU and US together account for nearly 30% of global trade. That dominant share might also become one of casualties of the tariff war. Harshita Oberoi, DD India.
Around 10,000 troops from Bulgaria, France, Greece, Italy, Romania, Spain, Slovenia, Turkey and the United Kingdom participated in military drills at a base in Romania on Wednesday. Named Steadfast Dart 2025, the exercises are the first large-scale deployment of NATO's Allied Reaction Force, intending to show NATO's ability to rapidly deploy forces to reinforce its eastern flank. This comes after European leaders' emergency meeting earlier this week for higher spending on defense capabilities, with differing views regarding deployment of peacekeepers to Ukraine. The exercises will come to a close on Thursday. US President Donald Trump said on Wednesday that he had a great relationship with Chinese President Xi Jinping as he expects his Chinese counterpart to visit the United States. Trump also said that a new trade deal between the two countries is possible.
I have a very good relationship with President Xi. I think a great relationship with President Xi. But remember, he loves China, and I love the USA. So, you know, right there's a little bit of competitiveness. It's possible. Well, we did a great trade deal with China. We did it great for the farmers, great for manufacturers. They had to buy $50 billion worth of our product, and we were making them buy it.
Trump also said that he was talking to China about TikTok as the United States seeks to broker a sale of the popular app.
I think we have a chance of doing something good, and we'll be speaking to China about that also, because they're a party to it, obviously. But it would be great to keep TikTok alive, sell it to somebody that's going to do a great job with it.
Further, the US President on Thursday raised questions about the Biden administration providing $21 million to India for voter turnout. Trump claimed that the Biden administration tried to influence the elections.
Yeah, what do we need to spend $21 million for voter turnout in India? Wow, $21 million. I guess they were trying to get somebody else elected. Wow, we ought to tell the Indian government, because when we hear that Russia spent about $2 in our country, it was a big deal, right? They took some internet ads for $2,000. This is a total breakthrough. $21 million for India.
Arab leaders will gather in Saudi Arabia on Friday to counter President Donald Trump's plan for US control of Gaza and the expulsion of its inhabitants. According to sources, leaders would discuss a reconstruction plan counter to Trump's plan for Gaza. Friday's summit was originally planned for Saudi Arabia, Egypt, United Arab Emirates, Qatar and Jordan. However, it has been expanded to include the 6 Gulf Cooperation Council or the GCC countries and the Palestinian Authority. Trump provoked international outrage when he announced that the United States would take over the Gaza Strip, moving 2.4 million Gazans living there to neighboring Egypt and Jordan, while Egypt had said that it would present a plan for a way forward. You're watching DD India News. Are still to come on this show. Australia and Papua New Guinea strengthen their alliance with the new defense treaty. South Korea's Yoon Suk-yeol is at the Constitutional Court for the final stage of his impeachment trial. And a look at the key political parties vying for influence and power in Germany's snap polls scheduled for Sunday.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I am Tanvi Taneja. Khulna University of Engineering and Technology in Bangladesh has lodged a criminal complaint against 400 unnamed individuals following clashes that left at least 50 students injured. The incident occurred on Tuesday when members of the Students Against Discrimination and Youth Wing of Bangladesh Nationalist Party clashed in the campus. Clashes at the university between student groups from Jamaat-e-Islami and Bangladesh Nationalist Party have ignited a conflict with the Students Against Discrimination, a protest movement that was behind the uprising that led to the ousting of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina last August. Tensions persisted across various campuses in Dhaka and other parts of the country as both sides continued blaming each other for the clashes. The administration has called for calm among students while requesting full cooperation from law enforcement to prevent any further incidents. On to South Korea now. Impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol appeared at the country's constitutional court on Thursday for his impeachment trial, which has entered its final stage now. The court is reviewing Yoon's impeachment by South Korean Parliament on December 14th and will decide whether to remove him from office permanently or reinstate him.
심판 종반전입니다.
The impeachment trial is now in its final stage. We already have the necessary and sufficient conditions for the Constitutional Court to remove Yoon Suk-yeol from office. Time is of the essence. We should swiftly remove Yoon Suk-yeol to save the nation. We will do my utmost until the very end to see this through.
후회합니다. 윤석열과 함께 윤석열 파면을 위해서
Yoon and his lawyers have argued that his bid to impose martial law was aimed at thwarting a legislative dictatorship by the opposition-controlled parliament. If Yoon is removed from office, the country must hold fresh presidential elections within 60 days.
I believe I have fully explained the key issues, including the matter of the detention period, the jurisdictional issue between prosecutors of the Corruption Investigation Office for high-ranking officials and the prosecutor's office, the argument that the crime of insurrection does not apply, and the assertion that there is no risk of evidence destruction.
Meanwhile, supporters of impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol protested near Constitutional Court as he attended the first hearing of his impeachment criminal trial. Australia and Papua New Guinea are strengthening their alliance with a new defence treaty aimed at deepening military integration and security cooperation. The treaty builds on their 2023 security agreement and underscores their close relationship. Papua New Guinea's Defence Minister Billy Joseph emphasised the importance of choosing strategic friends, with Australia being a very close partner. The move is part of Australia's efforts to counter China's growing influence in the South Pacific, where China has invested heavily in recent years.
The Minister and I are announcing that our two countries are commencing negotiations to establish a defence treaty between Australia and PNG. This will be a treaty with ambition. It will be the most significant defence agreement between our two countries since Papua New Guinean independence. Australia's biggest defence cooperation program is in Papua New Guinea.
Consciously made a decision to choose who should be our friends in as far as security is concerned. And we have many friends and we treat those friends uniquely in different levels. But with Australia, we are, as my Prime Minister, as you said, tied to the hips. We are very close.
German voters are all set to elect a new lower house of parliament on Sunday with the issues of migration, economy and the Ukraine conflict on their minds. Let's take a look at the key parties contesting the elections.
In the heart of Europe lies Germany, a country known for its rich history, cultural diversity and strong democratic values. The political landscape in Germany is as vibrant and dynamic as its citizens, with several major political parties vying for influence and power. Let's take a look at key parties and their promises. Germany has two centrist big tent parties, Scholz's center-left Social Democrats and the opposition Conservatives, an alliance of the Christian Democrats, CDU, and their Bavarian sister party, the Christian Social Union. However, they have just lost support in recent years, with smaller parties such as the environmental Greens and the far-right Alternative for Germany, AfD, gaining ground. The SPD, Conservatives, Greens and AfD are all fielding candidates for Chancellor. Also running are the pro-market Free Democrats, FDP, the far-left Linked and the leftist Saha-Wagenknecht alliance, who are all at risk of missing the 5% threshold to make it into parliament, according to opinion polls. In Germany, parties only win seats in parliament if they obtain 5% or more of the votes. Let's take a look at Germany's major political parties. The Christian Democratic Union, the CDU. Leader, Friedrich Merz. Ideology, Christian democracy, conservatism. Position, center-right. Key policies, economy, finance, migration and border control, security, climate, social policies. Social Democratic Party. Leaders, Lars Klingbeil. Chairperson, Zakia Esken, party leader. Ideology, social democracy. Position, center-left. Key policies, social justice, workers' rights, progressive social policies. The Greens. Leaders, Franziska Brandner, Felix Vanasak. Ideology, green politics, social liberalism. Position, center to center-left. Key policies, environmental protection, climate change, social equality. Free Democratic Party. Leader, Christian Lindner. Ideology, liberal. Position, center-right. Key policies, individual freedom, free market economy, lower taxes. Alternative for Germany, AfD. Leader, Tino Trupala, Alice Weidel. Ideology, right-wing populism, national conservatism. Position, far-right. Key policies, Euroscepticism, anti-immigration, climate change denial. The left, Die Linke. Leader, Katja Kipping, Bernd Rixinger. Ideology, left-wing politics. Position, far-left. Key policies, social justice, anti-capitalism, welfare state expansion. Bündnis Sahara Wagenknecht. Chairperson Sarah Wagenknecht. Amira Mohammed Ali. It is a populist party that blends left-leaning economic policies with conservative migration and pro-Russian foreign policy initiatives. Germany's political landscape is a testament to its vibrant democracy, where diverse ideologies coexist and compete. Each party brings its unique perspective and solutions to the table, reflecting the rich tapestry of German society. As the nation continues to evolve, these political forces will shape its future, ensuring that democracy remains robust and resilient. Bureau Report, DD India.
French Prime Minister François Bayrou survived a sixth no-confidence vote since taking office on December 13th last year after lawmakers in the National Assembly rejected a motion from the Socialist. The no-confidence vote, initiated by the Socialist Party, received only 181 votes in the French National Assembly, far below the 289 needed to unseat Bayrou. The PS launched the no-confidence vote on Monday in protest against Bayrou's use of the term migratory submersion. The left-wing party accused him of accelerating France's political and moral decline. The far-right party, National Rally, had previously announced that it would not support the no-confidence vote. A majority of MPs from the socialist group PS leave the chamber in the French National Assembly during a debate on the motion of censure that they themselves had tabled. Former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has been charged with leading a plan to overthrow the government after losing the 2022 elections. Prosecutor General Paulo Gonet accused Bolsonaro and 33 others of forming a criminal organization to keep him in power. The plan allegedly included poisoning President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and attacking democracy. Rogério Marinho, the head of the Liberal Party, declared Bolsonaro's coup plot charges unconstitutional. The charges come after a 2-year police investigation into the election-denying movement that culminated in riots by Bolsonaro supporters in the capital in early 2023, a week after President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva took office. On to Africa now. UN Security Council members met at the United Nations on Wednesday in the hopes of averting the widening conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Bintou Keita, the head of the UN mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, emphasized the urgent need for the UN Security Council to take swift and decisive action to prevent the escalation of conflict into a broader regional war.
This council takes urgent and decisive steps to avert a wider regional war. I call on this council to hold the perpetrators of human rights violations and abuses in the Democratic Republic of Congo accountable.
Violence in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo is escalating, with the Rwanda-backed M23 group threatening to advance towards the capital Kinshasa, displacing thousands. The head of the UN Stabilization Mission warned the Security Council about the growing violence and humanitarian crisis. The UN Special Envoy for the Great Lakes region also cautioned that the conflict could spread, drawing parallels to past crises. Rwanda denies these allegations from Congo, the UN and Western powers of supporting M23 with arms and troops. And next we take a look at what else is making news around the world. South Korea's defense ministry said on Thursday that it held a joint air drill with the United States. The ministry added that the drill was to show extended deterrent capabilities by the US in response to threats from North Korea's nuclear and missile program. Pearson International Airport in Canada began clearing the wreckage of a Delta aircraft that flipped upon landing. This comes after 21 out of 80 persons were injured in Monday's Delta jet tragedy. Following the entire procedure, the plane's debris will be taken to hangar for further investigation. Several flights were cancelled in Turkey's Istanbul due to heavy snowfall. The Turkish State Meteorological Service forecasted that snowfall will continue for the next 4 days, with temperatures falling between -1 and -2 degrees Celsius. Still to come on DD India News Hour. India becomes the second country in the world to digitalize pilot licenses. India's External Affairs Minister set to participate in the G20 Foreign Ministers meeting in Johannesburg. And Indian Coast Guard ship Shur docks in Abu Dhabi for a week-long participation in 2 major defense exhibitions.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Tanvi Taneja. A quick look at the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Delhi gets a BJP government after 27 years. Rekha Gupta sworn in as Chief Minister, becomes second woman BJP Chief Minister of India's national capital. Israel receives bodies of youngest Gaza hostages, including the remains of an 8-month-old infant. Hamas agrees to release all remaining hostages in single swap during the next phase of the Gaza truce. And US President Donald Trump denounces Zelenskyy as a dictator. Zelenskyy hopes talks with visiting US envoy Keith Kellogg will be constructive. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is on a 2-day visit to Johannesburg. The minister will participate in the G20 Foreign Ministers meeting at the invitation of the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation of the Republic of South Africa, Ronald Lamola. Jaishankar's participation in the G20 Foreign Ministers meeting will strengthen India's engagement with G20 countries and bolster the voice of the Global South in this important forum. On the sidelines of the G20 Foreign Ministers meet, Minister Jaishankar met Singapore's Foreign Affairs Minister in Johannesburg on Thursday. The leaders discussed the state of the world and the work in furthering bilateral ties. First-time MLA Rekha Gupta took oath as Delhi Chief Minister at the historic Ramlila ground on Thursday after the Bharatiya Janata Party returned to power in the national capital after over 26 years. The grand ceremony was attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Chief Ministers and Deputy Chief Ministers of 20 states and other senior BJP leaders and workers. Besides her, 6 newly elected MLAs, Parvesh Verma, Kapil Mishra, Ashish Sood, Pankaj Singh, Manjinder Singh Sirsa and Ravinder Indraj also took oath as members of the new Council of Ministers. Rekha Gupta was chosen as the leader of the House in the Delhi Assembly at the BJP Legislature Party meeting on Wednesday. She became the 4th woman Chief Minister of the national capital after Sushma Swaraj, Sheila Dikshit and Atishi. So the BJP making a comeback in India's national capital after a long gap of 27 years. Rekha Gupta, a name that has surprised many, was doing rounds in fact, and Rekha Gupta won the Shalimar Bagh constituency in the national capital. Also, Parvesh Singh Verma took oath. He was the one who defeated Arvind Kejriwal from the New Delhi seat, and other leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party who have also taken oath a little while ago include Ashish Sood, Kapil Mishra, Pankaj Singh, Manjinder Singh Sirsa and Ravinder Indraj. Well, it was a grand ceremony at the iconic Ramlila Maidan in New Delhi. It has been the venue for taking oath of the Delhi Chief Minister, Kapil Mishra on the screen right now. So Delhi gets a woman Chief Minister in the national capital. There have been 4 Chief Ministers before Rekha Gupta, namely Sushma Swaraj, Sheila Dikshit and Aam Aadmi Party's Atishi Marlena. Civil Aviation Minister K. Ram Mohan Naidu on Thursday launched Electronic Personnel License (EPL) for pilots, a significant step forward in modernizing and enhancing the safety, security and efficiency of civil aviation in India. With the launch, India has become the 2nd country in the world to implement EPL, Electronic Personnel Licenses, for the crew. DD India's Ajay Mishra spoke to the Minister of Civil Aviation for more.
Successfully been able to launch the electronic licensing system well ahead many countries. We have with us the Civil Aviation Minister. Sir, thanks very much. What are the benefits of this new scheme?
In fact, we are very, very proud to launch the EPL electronic pilot licensing today, and we are the 2nd country in the world to do it in respect to the International Civil Aviation Organization standards. And it has been a great work by our DGCA, which is ensuring that seamless and efficient way of obtaining pilot licenses there, and in operations also. Earlier we used to have the physical log books, piloting books, and then we moved to smart cards. But now with the International Civil Aviation Organization also, that interport operability across the globe, so it's going to bring a lot of convenience for our pilots, and we want to ensure that whatever little bit problems they might be facing in getting the licensing or renewal and all these, you have seen that when you bring in technology, there are a lot of variety of solutions that come in. So we wanted to ensure transformation, this digital transformation comes into place.
You said that we are the third largest domestic market. What are the numbers that makes you, that assures you that we are going to be the number 1?
See, right now we have 159 airports, and this again has been a vision of our Prime Minister that the growth of this country should be linked with the growth of civil aviation sector. He realizes how much effect growth of civil aviation sector has on this country. So in the last 10 years, he has pushed for more construction of airports. From 74, we reached 159. Next 5 years, we want to build 50. And in next 10 years, we want to build 120. So we have a big number in place.
With camera person Piyush, Ajay Mishra for DD India, New Delhi.
In a significant display of growing maritime cooperation between India and the United Arab Emirates, the Indian Coast Guard ship Shore has docked in Abu Dhabi for a week-long participation in two major defence exhibitions. The Advanced Offshore Patrol Vessel arrived on February 15th to join the Naval Defence Exhibition and Conference 2025 and International Defence Exhibition 2025 running through Friday. Commanding Officer DIG Dushant Kumar highlighted the visit's technical achievements, noting successful demonstrations of the ship's remotely operated life buoy system to UAE Navy representatives.
The ship has got the privilege of interacting with the other maritime services of the region. The ship is capable of carrying out pollution response activities, flying operations at sea, doing anti-piracy, anti-poaching operations. The ship has a responsibility of keeping our maritime frontier safe in the exclusive economic zone of India.
And next we take a look at other stories making news in India. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has launched an intensified special NCD screening campaign on Thursday. The initiative aims to achieve 100% screening of all individuals aged 30 years and above for prevalent non-communicable diseases, including diabetes, hypertension, and 3 common cancers: oral cancer, breast cancer, and cervical cancer. The campaign will end on 31st of March. India is elected to the Vice Presidency of the International Organization of Aids to Marine Navigation, IALA, in Singapore. The announcement was made at the first General Assembly of IALA that commenced on Wednesday. This underscores India's strong leadership and contributions to maritime affairs, reaffirming its commitment to sustainable and secure marine navigation. The 9th Asia Economic Dialogue will commence in Pune, Maharashtra from Friday. The dialogue is External Affairs Ministry's annual flagship track 1.5 dialogue on geoeconomics and is co-hosted in collaboration with Pune International Centre. The 3-day-long event is themed Economic Resilience and Resurgence in an Era of Fragmentation. And as we told you, first-time MLA Rekha Gupta has become the new Delhi Chief Minister. Let's now go over to Anil Thomas, who joins us from New Delhi on the story. Anil, what can you tell us about the political journey of Rekha Gupta so far?
Well, good afternoon, Tanvi. Rekha Gupta brings a sea of experience behind her. She's got close to 33 years of, work at different levels, be it student leadership, municipal governance, or for that matter, political organizational skills. And I think she would be the right person, if one may say so. The 4th women chief minister, the 2nd from the BJP, and the first, in the entire of India, where you have a BJP woman chief minister who's going to rule the national capital territory. And, the experience that she brings, all the 3 fronts that I said, student, political, as well as municipal governance, helps her understand the complexity that Delhi offers to her. Delhi is a very difficult territory to rule, for the simple reason because, there are many complexities within this small region. And I think Rekha Gupta, with all the experience that she's had, 33 years behind her at various levels, she's going to do a world of sea of good. And the people of Delhi are hoping that, she could be the transformation, or she could bring the transformation that people were tired of under the AAP government. I think that's something that people are hoping. And the large crowd that we saw at the Ramlila grounds clearly indicative that the people are hoping that something good is going to come in the next few years for Delhi.
Okay. And what are likely to be the main tasks that the new Chief Minister will set for herself and her government, and which task is likely to prove the most challenging?
Well, let's begin with fulfilling the promises that are there as part of the Sankalp Patra that BJP released during the election campaign. At least the biggest one on the task is distributing 2,500 rupees to every woman.
In India, its breathtaking beaches and luscious green Western Ghats are home to 4 UNESCO World Heritage Sites that attract innumerable tourists. Maharashtra is a state of vibrant cultures knitted together into a beautiful tapestry. Its people uphold a brave heart and a compassionate soul, a glimpse of which can be seen in the heartwarming stories of the land. Maharashtra is a leader in terms of agriculture, industrial production, trade and transport. From world-famous Nagpur oranges to world-class Nashik wines, from scenic expressways to the majestic sea link, the state is ready to take global center stage. Maharashtra's capital city Mumbai is also the financial and commercial capital of India. With headquarters of major corporate and financial institutions, including India's main stock exchanges, the city is a key driver of the service sector in India. Mumbai, the city of dreams, is also an art and entertainment capital and home to the Indian film industry, one of the largest in the world with a global fan following. Playing host to G20 meetings, Maharashtra and the city of Mumbai are ready to offer our guests an enriching glimpse of India's diversity, inclusive tradition and cultural richness.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Tanvi Taneja. On to some business news now. Global stocks are trading cautiously on Thursday due to US President Donald Trump's tariff plans, geopolitical worries and the Federal Reserve's cautious stance. This has led to a risk-off mood, lifting gold prices to a record high of $2,947. The Japanese yen has also firmed to its highest level since December against the dollar. Asian shares have taken a hit, with Japan's Nikkei sliding 1.5% and Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index slipping 1.3%. Trump's tariff plans include tariffs on autos by April 2nd, exacerbating fears of a broad trade war. The dollar index has eased 0.16% to 107.06, while the euro remains steady at $1.0428. Oil prices have eased, while wheat prices have extended gains due to concerns over crop damage. US stocks on the Wall Street ended marginally higher on Wednesday, and the S&P 500 notched its second straight all-time closing high as investors scrutinized the minutes from the Federal Reserve's January policy meeting and the US latest tariff announcements. At the meeting, the US Central Bank left its key interest rate unchanged. The minutes show policymakers expressed concern about stubborn inflation and the potential effect of Donald Trump's policy proposals. So the S&P 500 gained 0.2% to end at 6,144, while the Nasdaq Composite Index gained 0.1% to 20,056. Microsoft on Wednesday unveiled a new chip that it said showed quantum computing is years, not decades away. Microsoft said that it could transform everything from fighting pollution to developing new medicines, joining Google and IBM in arguing that the promise of quantum computing is closer to reality. The US-made chip called Mahorana 1 can fit in the palm of a hand, but packs a revolutionary design that Microsoft believes will solve one of the biggest challenges in quantum computing, making these super powerful machines reliable enough for real-world use. The company says its breakthrough was confirmed in research published on Wednesday in the scientific journal Nature.
You know, it's less than 10 micron by 10 micron aside, and a lot of qubits really are quite a bit larger for one reason or another, usually having to do with the trying to make them stable.
And time now for some sporting action. Let's take a look up first at the updates from the ICC Champions Trophy 2025. So, India is beginning their campaign at the ICC Champions Trophy today. Bangladesh have won the toss and elected to bat against India in their opening match of the Champions Trophy in Dubai on Thursday. India have excluded wicketkeeper batter Rishabh Pant and pacer Arshdeep Singh, a regular feature of the one-day squad, while right-arm pacer Harshit Rana has been included in the playing 11. The two countries have faced each other 41 times and India hold an overwhelming 32-8 advantage, while one match yielded no result. India faced Bangladesh for the second time in the ICC Champions Trophy. And in India's Narayan Singh joins us on the story now. Narayan, India's spin-heavy lineup takes on Bangladesh in this high-stakes Champions Trophy. What can we expect?
As Bangladesh won the toss and they decided to bat first, and that decision went wrong. As we know that the trend of this wicket, Dubai International Cricket Stadium wicket, we saw in the past also the teams chasing always 90% winning the matches here in the Dubai International Cricket Stadium, and I think that was a mistake done by the Bangladesh captain Nazmul Hashim Chanto, and right now they are in deep trouble, losing 2 early wickets, and both their captain is out and Tanzim Hassan too went for the duck. So that was the mistake they have done here, and the way our pace bowlers are performing here, fantastic. Harshit Rana in the team, and the captain Rohit Sharma showed faith in him and he delivered that thing. And the way Shami, after all, we can say that he was in rehab after the 2023 World Cup final. He was forced into the international exile for 14 months, and after that he played especially the Ranji Trophy, Syed Mushtaq, and also the series against England. But here he has saved his best for the big tournament here in the Champions Trophy. He is giving India early breakthrough, and definitely India, we can say that, is on driver's seat here in this match, and hoping that the kind of combination India has in this, we can say that Champions Trophy definitely is one of the best in the tournament. Talking about up the order, Shubman Gill is back in the form, the way he performed again the series against England, and Shreyas Iyer, the kind of cricket he played in the series against England, they were back in form. Even Rohit Sharma also scored 100. He looked a bit rusty, but a captain back in the form definitely is a big headache for the opponents. And most importantly, what India did, especially in this series, in this tournament, that they covered up the things that they failed in the 2023 ODI World Cup, where they won every match till the final. In that World Cup, they don't have any left-hander in the top 6. Right now, they have the floater in the form of Akshar Patel, and in the series against England, we saw that Indian team used him as a floater, and he was also promoted to the 4th spot, and where it didn't look like the Rohit Sharma gambled that he will be there at the number 4, he will score or not, but he played like a certified batsman, showing his skill there. So we can say that India, for the batting depth, is still 8th number. Even if you say that Harshit Rana today is in the squad, even he plays, he also can hit few good sixes. So batting is very deep for the Indian team, and right now India is in driver's seat in this opening match.
Interesting how you mentioned that India is in the driving seat. Looking at the bigger picture, with 2 titles already under their belt, 2002 as co-winners and 2013 as sole champions, how do you see India's chances in the tournament?
Definitely, India is always a favorite in the major ICC tournaments. If you take a look in the last few decades, if you take a look in the major ICC tournament, they lost very few matches in the group stage too. So here again, they have the potential, and recently in 2024, we saw the Indian team winning the T20 World Cup in USA and West Indies, and in the ODI World Cup, we saw a fantastic performance throughout the tournament, but in the last match, in the final match, they lost to Australia. Again, India has the chances because they have the best player in the business. In the absence of Jasprit Bumrah, we have again another veteran is there in the form of Mohammad Shami, and we know that if he delivers the kind of bowler he is, we know that he spearheaded India's pace bowling attack in the ODI World Cup 2023. Again, he is doing that same role, filling Bumrah's shoes, and the pacers like Harshit Rana is with them, and in the spin department we have Kuldeep. We know that Kuldeep is an added advantage for any team, and if you take a look at the bowlers in the middle overs, especially after 11 to 40 overs, he is the most consistent bowlers in the world in that over, taking the wickets at the crucial juncture for the Team India. So all in all, we can see that India is a formidable opponent in this tournament, and here when they will play against Pakistan, that's going to be very important match, because any team has to play only 3 matches. Even if they loses a single match here in the group stage, definitely it could be difficult for any team. So no room for the complacency for any team here in the ICC Champions Trophy.
Yeah, a lot of action ahead. Thank you very much, Narayan Singh, for joining us on the story. And a clinical New Zealand outplayed Pakistan by 60 runs in the opening game of the much-awaited Champions Trophy 2025 in Karachi on Wednesday. Centuries each from Tom Latham and Will Young, alongside a fiery 50 from Glenn Phillips, steered New Zealand to 320 for 5 in 50 overs. Pakistan skipper Mohammad Rizwan won the toss and opted to bowl. The decision seemed right as the hosts reduced the Black Caps to 73 for 3 at one stage, but a 118-run partnership between Young and Latham turned the tide in New Zealand's favour. For Pakistan, Naseem Shah was the most successful bowler with figures of 2 for 63. Pakistan struggled in the chase due to their slow start of 22 for 2 in 10 overs. Kushdil Shah and Salman Agha scored quick-fire 69 and 42, but it wasn't enough for the home team. And on to football, Kylian Mbappe struck a brilliant hat-trick for Champions League holders Real Madrid in a 3-1 win over Manchester City. With this victory, Los Blancos have reached the last 16 with a 6-3 aggregate win. Mbappe opened the scoring with Real's first attack in the 4th minute and scored again in the 33rd minute. Real kept piling on the pressure and wasting chances against Pep Guardiola's struggling team, and Mbappe scored his third in the 61st minute with a left-footed strike from the edge of the box. Manchester City's Nico Gonzalez scored a compensation goal at the death, but it did little to tarnish a fantastic night for the Spaniards. Real Madrid will now either face Bayer Leverkusen or City rivals Atletico Madrid, depending on Friday's draw. And in tennis, top seed Carlos Alcaraz booked his spot in the quarterfinals of the Qatar Open tournament on Wednesday, advancing past Italy's Luca Nardi 6-1, 4-6, 6-3. Alcaraz broke his fellow 21-year-old 5 times while saving 60 of break points, faced to wrap up the win in just under 2 hours of tennis. Having secured his first indoor title in Rotterdam and won the China Open, Alcaraz's second win in Doha sees him extend his winning streak at ATP 500 tournaments to 12 matches. Next up for the Spaniard is Lehecka of the Czech Republic, who cruised to a 6-4, 6-2 win over Hungary's Fabian Maruzan. And as we wind up this bulletin, let's tell you once again that the big story of the day from India, Rekha Gupta of the BJP has been sworn in as Delhi's Chief Minister. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated the newly elected Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta and all the ministers in the New Delhi cabinet, posting photographs of the oath-taking ceremony that was held today in the national capital. In a social media post, Prime Minister Modi said that Rekha Gupta has risen from the grassroots, being active in campus politics, state organization, municipal administration, and now the MLA as well as the Chief Minister. The Prime Minister, along with other eminent politicians, were present at the ceremony. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live, and you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.